Afternoon, it's Monday, April 4th. I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. I think the big news in Arkansas this week is currently happening mostly behind the scenes. There's a special session that's going to start later this week, and the legislature is going to take up Governor Asa Hutchinson's proposals to continue the Medicaid expansion and also to, he hopes, save a lot of money by going to a managed care system for Medicaid, or big parts of Medicaid anyway. That particular part of his proposal is engendering tremendous blowback from the legislature. There's a tremendous resistance to this from legislators whose spouses are in the health business and from health care operators who think his managed care program will cost them too much money. Oh, and it might reduce service as well, but I think that's secondary to the first part. In any event, the governor is holding firm. There's some strong indications that he may not have the votes he needs yet, at least, but he's wheeling and dealing ferociously. One bit of embarrassment came out over the weekend. People who are fighting him on the managed care proposal learned that a patient bill of rights, so-called, and some talking points in favor of the managed care program were prepared at least in part by lobbyists for Centene, which hopes to be the managed care operator. Managed care operator putting out information on managed care bill of rights for patients doesn't look very good. The governor says that they accepted help from anybody who wanted to offer it for his proposal. Other state news today is that the state revenues for March are up sharply. There's lower than expected income tax refunds and a big increase in sales taxes. Those are both signs of some economic well-being in the state. We may need the money if they kill the Medicaid expansion. In May, the Independent Citizens Commission that was charged by a constitutional amendment with setting pay for elected officials is going to have a meeting, and they're going to decide if economic conditions warrant yet another pay raise for elected officials in Arkansas in a year when the rest of the state budget is being cut, where state employees are not getting a pay raise, where poor people are going to have to pay more for their health care. Is it really time for another pay raise? I don't think so, but I bet the legislators think otherwise. They deserve a lot of money, they seem to think. Speaking of judges who got up to $166,000 a year thanks to that pay commission work, more reporting today, and you can find it on the Arkansas blog, about the shadowy group that put $400,000 or so, maybe a lot more, into electing Dan Kemp, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, over Courtney Goodson. That independent group that raised money to elect Dan Kemp is also very active now in the campaign to try and block President Obama's appointment of Merrick Garland to a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. This group has shadowy ties, but they seem to link back to who else? The Koch billionaires. You have slow internet? You almost certainly do if you live in Arkansas. We have just about the slowest internet in the country, maybe second slowest. Not much is being done about it. There was some interesting reporting on this point in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette today. It mentioned a favorite subject of mine, Chattanooga. They've taken money in that city, use their electric utility to provide the fastest internet service in America. Guess what? That spending has produced huge benefits for Chattanooga in the form of technology companies. Here in Little Rock, we think you encourage technology company by renting some old buildings from rich people. In Chattanooga, rich people have contributed a lot of money through philanthropic gifts to building that city's reputation as a place that's open to new technology development. I think we could learn something from Chattanooga, Tennessee. We do also have a state law that prevents cities from going into the internet business unless they happen to have an electric utility already. Most cities do not. We depend on some companies that make money off their electricity service. Over late Friday, after we taped, we learned that the Pulaski County Special School District Superintendent Jerry Guess had recommended the firing of Gary Hendricks, a Mills High teacher who showed the passion of the Christ in his classroom, included with it a proselytizing study sheet, and then also ranted about liberals, Democrats, and welfare cheats when they told him he needed to clean up his classroom a little bit. He could appeal. We haven't heard yet if he will. Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts has received $50,000 from the family of Dan Friedenberg. He was a top Google X executive who was killed in an avalanche while climbing Mount Everest last year. He's a graduate of ASMS, one of those people who benefited by that great school in Hot Springs, though they came from some small towns that didn't have quite the same offerings that Hot Springs School does. His family gave $50,000 toward the creation of an innovation lab that's going to include a lab named in his honor, a good thing. And finally, let's end on a happy note again today. The Little Rock Zoo has opened up a new feature, a heritage farm, I think I call it. It's a fancy name for a petting zoo. It's going to teach the lessons of Heifer International, the Little Rock group that sends animals around the world for self-sufficiency purposes. For us, it means there's a place you can go see some mighty cute lambs, miniature goats, miniature horses, and who knows what all. Take a look. They had a big crowd this weekend, I noticed, at the zoo. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
You feel it in your heart. The spirit of Little Rock. We've had that spirit since 1927, helping build our city by producing decades of leaders in the heart of our state. We are the heart of business and innovation, the heart of politics and government, the heart of arts and culture, and in our city beats the heart of a Trojan. UALR, we are Little Rock's team and Little Rock's University.